Chalet, game 2 tonight. Our first playdate of this super weekend. Chalet being the map. Not too surprised to end up here, in all honesty. It's a map that Black Dragons have played pretty well on so far during the course of the stage.
Liquid have played it once and they lost it once, and that was, of course, FaZe versus Liquid in the first week, Ollie. That is still, in my eyes, the best game I think we've had still to end this stage. 100%. That game. If you haven't watched it yet, FaZe Liquid, September 12th on Chalet, go and watch that. You will be pleased to watch it. You really will.
I even enjoy how you give the date. Like it was like a really significant historical event. It's date worthy.
We'll be celebrating this next year. Don't worry. We'll be celebrating on the September 12th. We'll get together again. We'll like recreate the iconic moment.
Well, let's see if there's going to be an iconic moment here for Black Dragons. A chance for them to get one over on Liquid here. We've already spoken about the sort of rivalry that has developed between these two teams. I think it's fairly friendly, but it's always nice to be playing your ex-team or ex-teammate. There's always that little bit of an extra point to prove. The bans, as we take a look at them: Lion, Thatcher, Cade, and a Valkyrie. Nothing too jaw-dropping for this map. Lion, a great pickup. Really assists you in clearing out that roam game. Thatcher, would it be a game of Siege if Thatcher wasn't banned, Demo? I don't think it would be. Valkyrie, ever present in that banning. And a Cade as well for good measure. Liquid starting off things on the defense, taking us down to Baron Games.
Yeah, run-of-the-mill bans again, Ollie. Thatcher. Obviously, we've seen the patch notes that came out, Ollie, and we've seen some operators are going to be receiving some buffs, some are going to be receiving some nerfs. And I think you commented saying, oh, we'll just still insta-ban Thatcher then.
Yeah, I admit that's it. Yeah, it doesn't change.
Yes.
I can't wait for Clash Super Shorty.
Yes, that's an interesting one.
That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to see that in the meta.
We'll see how it plays out, of course. We know what usually how the Siege community reacts to, buffs and nerfs. Remember, people thought Tachanka was going to be, simply God, and he's turned out to be one of the worst operators in the game. In my opinion, anyway. Why bring Tachanka? Just why? You only hindered yourself. So, Black Dragons. Looking just to scout out the majority of the top floor. Nobody from Liquid Ollie really going for a roam game, which is a bit strange to see. Nobody holding in towards bedroom or piano. We know that a player like Nesk can go nuclear in that scenario where he has so many twists and turns that he can just shuffle from one angle to another and just kill everything in his sight. Liquid have kind of changed up their ideology, and they went for a more kind of downstairs basement presence, it almost seems to be.
Yeah, Liquid are spreading themselves fairly thinly here. Chalet is one of those maps where, as an attacker, you've got to really get yourself everywhere and perform that efficient clear. We're starting to see that kind of developing here, but laser gates to burn through, shields to play around. There's going to be quite a bit here that Black Dragons need to achieve. They've not left themselves the most time in the world to do so, but we are going to start to see a couple of nades flying in. Nades usually the big entryway here for attackers. Toxie going to be watching that Claymore. It seems like a little bit of an excess maneuver, something that he could maybe be doing without here. Resets is going to be at the top of Library, has a chance to challenge, but will dip himself back. It's going to be too much of a pressured position to play now, especially with only an SMG-11 in your hand. But he will go for the C4, shot out mid-air. Kills start to exchange elsewhere, though, as we go 1-for-1 live for PSK.
Resets has to be careful, because this is where Black Dragons, they know the positioning off him, and they know he's going to be in the back stairs, and just has to be careful. Looks as if he has dropped all the way down, but there's a position for him. This is what I mean with the information. They know what they're looking for. They know what they're after. A nade will be dropped down. Does a little bit of damage to resets, but still alive. And he is in actually a very scary position now for Black Dragons. If they cannot eliminate this man on the blue stairs, then they will be in for a world of hurt. And there's one kill that falls. We do see the trade-off, though, from Ion. Nesk inside a connector, and Paulu jumps in. Of course it's Nesk and Paulu to kick things off for Liquid.
Great round there from Liquid and a really good round from Resets. The way that he played well. Those library stairs was essentially the reason why Liquid won the round. Sure, you've got Palu and Nesk picking up a couple of kills in the dying few seconds, but realistically, that would never have been allowed if Resets hadn't played so well on those library stairs. The flick that he was able to get, sensational stuff. Puts Liquid in a nice early lead here. Can move through and take us into the kitchen. We've maybe got a quick replay of just his play on the library. So just the position of him and the fact that he was happy to dip on down, the flick onto Perez, that was beautiful, especially given the video that we saw prior to this game where Perez was like, oh, we know what Resets does, like I can't wait to counter him sort of thing. Sure, you know where he's going to be, but you can't fight against that kind of a flick demo.
Nope, you cannot. Have to highlight Resets again. In that position, he knew straight away, Ollie, that he had to fall back. Whenever that kind of top floor starts to get opened up, which is what Black Dragons did, I think Black Dragons, they set out very, very well. They took upstairs, they did everything by the book. But the main issue, I think, really started to stem from that blue stairs, because they needed to get them clean. You've seen them rotate the zero below for that very reason, but they just couldn't coordinate well enough. It was almost as if they were waiting for Resets himself to mess up, and if you're trying to prey on the downfall of others, 9 times out of 10, that's probably not going to work for you. And we know Resets, he's a very cool and capable player. That's why Liquid picked him up in the first place, and I think he's shown it there to a T.
Asuka's been chunked down pretty significantly already. A couple of ADSs to play on these solar stairs. He's going to be worried about trophy window as well. It's a very pressured position to play, especially when all it's going to take is a little bit of splash damage from a nade and he's going to be gone out of there. He's going to look to try and provide as much value for his team as he can before he eventually departs to the cameras full time. Black Dragons aren't too interested in pushing that at the moment. Instead, we're going to be looking at maybe getting control in and around library. That's where the majority of the drones are positioned at the moment. Seto opens things up onto Palu. Palu gets taken down there on the Legion. Not many of those goo mines going to be out and about at this point, Demo.
No, not at the moment. So, I mean, Legion is an okay operator, I suppose, Ollie. Not a bad operator, but probably not the greatest one you can choose. Just there is a bit of a middle ground, so just helps, I think, with impacts. If you need to take someone with an impact, use a solid gun with the T5 SMG, and then the goo mines can be a bit of a nuisance here or there. Resets, maybe looking to prep the window, Ollie, for a quick getaway. See if he's going to try and take the gunfights, and he will start to get pressure. There's a full line of people just convoying towards him, but Resets is holding his own inside a bathroom and still finds a kill. Perezzo will find Nesk and Resets looking to go even more aggro outside the bathroom, but he himself gets shut down, and now it's going to be down to PSK. A 1 versus 3 for him. Let's see how he wants to play it. Creeps up onto solar stairs. Did they know he's there? Will fire at a drone to put on the flank, and now they will know his position. PSK gets spotted out and has to now maneuver downstairs and back into that kitchen once again. Not the safest location of Wally, because that hatch is open, and Black Dragons can use that.
They may use it very quickly as well, as he could get taken out there. That vertical angle is going to be a nice and easy one for Perez to be watching. Always got the advantage, you could hear him moving on through there. Bit of a dangerous rotation for PSK to make. You've got to bank on somebody being upstairs at that point when you're in that 1 versus 3. A good push from Black Dragons. They were able to very effectively clear out those players upstairs. It did cost them, but Perez, it happened off view for us, but he was able to gain a couple of really important kills, one more notably onto Nesk, and as soon as that happened, it really started to open things up. Also, the fact that we started off with Liquid getting fairly significantly chunked down wasn't ideal either. We had Ask and Resets really low after their first engagements. It happened at sort of a midway point in the round, but it still really wasn't a great position then to be continuing to take gunfights in.
Interested to see how Black Dragons now want to deal with this upstairs. I think with how they've been playing, it has been, you know, fairly standard. Haven't done anything too crazy. I think it's very basic in terms of how Charlie's played. And I mean, I think it's a good thing from Black Dragons. This is one of those games that we know they're up against it. We know what MIVR put on for us earlier, Ollie. It just adds that extra, just an extra bit of attitude now for Black Dragons, where they know they need to just play every single game like it's their last and try and catch up to MIVR as much as they can. And against Liquid, this is not a time where you experiment. This is not a time where you try something new. You play what you know works. And how they're playing, that's how you would expect Black Dragons to play. Very by the book.
Yeah, you really don't want to be going anything too wild and outlandish at this point. And I don't think the Black Dragons really need to. They're a capable side. They usually just start off a little bit slow and let a couple of rounds slip before getting into the fixture. But already having picked up round number 2 here, you have got a chance to not go too far down in that opening phase. We'll see if they can continue it, however. May have just been a little bit of a hiccup and a blip on the side of Liquid. Gathering a little bit of early intel here. Patoxy going to be getting another drone into that main lobby area. Liquid happy to play in and around the piano area. Obviously a very key location when you're looking to defend Master and Office. PSK has got all the utility in the world to be set up, but it maybe looks as though Resets is going to nick a few of those ADSs back now that they've seen the push is going to be coming in from that south side.
Yeah, good adaptation from Liquid, realizing that, okay, guys are going for just the run-of-the-mill piano take in towards Office, so they're going to try and set up for that now. See, Liquid, they still have control of Kitchen Ollie as well, and that's going to do them big favors, because that just adds on now an extra layer that Black Dragons have to deal with. Nobody's going to try and go in for a plant behind half wall if you know the kitchen control is still firmly in favor of the defense, and that's exactly where we're at. Ask will open things up. What's he done there? Did he just get a kill from the vertical angles? I think he did, Ollie.
Ask is that player that will play support and still keep up with the likes of Neskampalu in terms of kills, especially on the defending side. Now, I say that, he's just been impacted from below. A nade cooked for the perfect amount of time. Now he's been finished off as well. The breach is going to be open. But 50 seconds, there's still some denial here available for Liquid. PSK, 3 Toxic Babe canisters. No C4s, which is a little bit of a problem, but PSK is in position to get those thrown out there. Resets an aggressive run out onto live. That shuts him down, and it retains the man advantage, although it is instantly lost again. Ion in with the direct trade. Nesk next up to the plate. Nobody on the side of Liquid playing in A. Very dangerous position to be in. Basetto, juiced up with the Finker stim, will now start to be chipped down by the Toxic Babe gas. Obviously, Finker making you more susceptible to the damage that gas dishes out. And that's really stopped the plant from going down dead in its tracks. There are still 5 seconds left, and it will start to go down. Ion picks 1 and a second, as that's his 3rd on the round. Palu moves through. Can he be the difference maker? No, he cannot. Ion, 4 kills on the round.
Massive from Ion. Had to win that engagement in bathroom, and he did just that. Wow. Seen the mechanic only that we don't really see, and that is the Finker boost plus inhaling a Toxic Babe, and that does a lot of damage. And I thought from that position where that Habana then was on just a sliver of HP, probably Liquid would be favorites, but nope. Ion completely messes everything up that was supposed to happen. And Black Dragons take a very comfortable round. Still looking a little bit sketchy from them. I mean, I have to highlight the fact that we've seen a bathroom jump out, Ollie, whenever there is a Nomad on the table. How does that happen?
Yeah, strange. Shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Especially if you're playing piano with it.
Even a Claymore. Just even somebody, you know, throw a Claymore on it and just do something about it. But you can't help but think that Ion was maybe making up for the fact that he'd boosted at kind of an inopportune moment, given that PSK had all of his Toxic Babe canisters left. But as you say, it's not a mechanic that you get to see all too often, but you see just the amount of health that Bassetto was losing there after being stimmed. It really is enough. It doesn't take... I don't know how much more effective it is than the normal demo, but it feels as though it could be sort of 2 times as effective. As Bassetto really was getting chunked down, and he was lucky not to lose his life there, but really all came down to Ion playing inside of that piano, and you can't afford to lose 4 players to just one thinker.
Okay, so Liquid. A greatest round from them. But now they do get to go back, Ollie, to the bomb set that they did win pretty comfortably. Didn't really have anybody upstairs. Nobody holding top fireplace. Nobody inside a library, really. And it was pretty easy in most elements for Black Dragons to take the upstairs control with ease. However, they have changed up their approach, and they will be looking entry in towards the actual bomb site now, Ollie, as we see a double window jump and diffuser going to be planted by Bassetto, and the nades will cover. Ask cannot get a Toxic Babe out in time, and Black Dragons has pulled off something that really shouldn't be happening, Liquid. That is rule 101. Don't let them jump in the double window and go for a quick plant, but that has happened to them now, and Liquid, what are they going to do? It looks as if maybe have a bit of lag there as we've seen some moonwalking going on, but 25 seconds to go. Can Liquid pull this back? Resets will be eliminated. Paulu misses the shots, but will make up for it, though, and find one. Actually, I think Nesk stole that away from him. Paulu now swings on towards Mud, has no idea that Live is in that position, and Nesk in a 1v2. Diffuser still in the exact same position. Almost finds Live, but doesn't have enough time. Black Dragons pull it off. Wow, Ollie. A quick plant, and bang! Black Dragons have took another round.
Very impressive stuff from Black Dragons, seeing an opportunity and taking it. We often see them throw a little rush round into the mix here and there, and that time it really worked out for them. They were able to effectively get that plant down really easily and really quickly, and it honestly wasn't because Liquid was sleeping. Liquid got caught a little bit off guard, but Ask wasn't in a position to, one, gather the information to actually learn that somebody was jumping in through the window and in the site, or 2, to even throw a Toxic Babe canister on it because of the nades that were cutting him off. It was a really well executed and well coordinated little bit of teamwork from Black Dragons.
Really shouldn't happen, though. As much as we can praise Black Dragons, that is 101. That is, rookie mistakes right there from Liquid. So one thing that we know it can happen, but realistically it just can't, because one C4, one smoke grenade puts it to bed. But that didn't happen for Liquid. Just something that they weren't expecting. It was so easy to deal with that they just thought they'll never do it. It's so expected it becomes unexpected.
Never say never. Liquid pay the price for being caught off guard. It's becoming a little bit more popular. We see a couple more teams start to really attempt that sort of a rush strategy, especially on this site. Now, Liquid feel as though it isn't going to happen again, that lightning won't strike twice, and I agree. I don't think that Black Dragons are going to go for something as predictable as a rush once again. Instead, they're getting themselves into the bottom of Garage. Nesk very quickly getting pinched here, whether Black Dragons know it or not. But they've used a little bit of utility there to get into Garage. A nade and a hard breach isn't as easy as just popping that soft wall, as Liquid have chose to extend a little bit into there.
You see now, Liquid just looking to be a little bit more, I think, aggressive, Ollie. Look at the positionings. Some of the players, you can see Paulu over on the other side of the map, maybe looking to hit a window or two, finding an angle wherever he can. I think PSK has taken a much more aggressive standpoint. I mean, only a minute gone, Ollie, and he's swinging onto double window. He's not afraid of taking these challenges, but does get punished for it, though, down to just a sliver of HP. So Liquid, they're not happy with how they've been playing, and they would really want to take it to Black Dragons, and just trying to shut down Black Dragons, their playstyle. Like we've kind of mentioned, Ollie, Black Dragons have been very by the book, Haven't done anything too crazy. And it's worked for them. And I think Liquid have acknowledged that, and they want to try and disrupt Black Dragons as much as they can.
Liquid do need to be careful here, and I mean, at the moment, it looks as though they're taking every precaution necessary. We've got Nesk hiding out inside of the basement. We've got Palu gently approaching into Piano. Doesn't want to overcommit, doesn't want to really announce himself. Got a glimpse, a little bit of a chance, maybe, but instead chooses to make that full rotation. He's still got a C4. He's still got a lot of value to provide in the dying stages of this round. Resets. He's able to shut down live. PSK, full white flash at Fireplace. Reset second on the round. They just keep feeding him there at the top of these library stairs. Palu, with the successful rotation, will take down Ion. And it leaves a lot to do here for Patoxy and Basetto. Basetto chunked and finished off by PSK. Patoxy, new balcony, a lot of work to do. 25 seconds left. Diffuser cold on the ground. And 1 versus 5. Sure, he's going to have a bit of information, but realistically, what is he able to do here? He's going to make his approach. Peeks on round. Does take down resets. PSK, interestingly, doesn't swing at the same time. 10 seconds left. Caught inside of the barbed wire. That's going to give him away. The default camera is still up as well. A C4 flying on through. And eventually finished off by Nesk.
Much better from Liquid. Not afraid to take those challenges. Playing off, I think, information a lot better, Ollie. And you can see that it's got them another round for them. So, 3-2, not too bad for Liquid now. Keep in mind, they are on the defense, and Chalet is seen as an attacker-sided map. It is very quickly, Ollie, I feel, becoming the new coastline of the meta, where we're seeing a map that is off the beaten track. We're seeing an attacker-sided map, and Chalet definitely falls under that.
It really does. It's certainly the 4-2 split isn't uncommon for the attackers here. It's borderline expected. And that's not because the sites aren't good. Chalet's in one of those unique situations where we see all 4 sites played fairly regularly. We've seen a lot of basement this stage in the BR6. A lot of teams have been gravitating toward it. So it isn't even that it's like a 1 or 2 site map. There are plenty of options. It's just so vast, and the attackers on that roam game, they've got so many windows to play with. They've got so many options to get in. They can burn utility from the outside of the map, which always leads you to a little bit more success when you don't have to worry about watching one another's back whilst you're coordinating flashbangs and C4 and nades and what have you in through windows to burn various bits of utility. So for the attackers, you are expected really to come away with a reasonable split out of this. Black Dragons are doing just that though. 3-2, potential for a 4-2, equally. Potential here for Liquid to go 3-3. Certainly no indication as to how this one's going to end up going as of yet. As this is one of the close games that we were looking for this weekend, Demo.
Yeah, it was, and we know the scenario, of course, for Black Dragons. Still have a chance of making it into the finals next weekend and get that 6th position. But they are against MIBR, who already have a few points ahead of them. This is their moment, their chance to try and pull it back. Flashbangs will be tossed out on the solar stairs, and once again they're looking to pressure Ask as much as they can, and well, PSK's done very, very well though, Ollie, to even get that refrag swinging as the nade was being cooked, but still they lost Ask, but could have been worse.
Damage control there being performed. Ask, not really the players that you want to, not really one of the players that you want to lose. But so far, isn't really having the pop-off that we've seen him have in previous weeks. Instead, it's Resets that's stepping up to the plate, which is beautiful because obviously he's going up against his old team. He's got a point to prove. He wants to show how he's developed as a player. And so far, he's doing just exactly that. Rocking that Vigil roll. 6 and 5 currently. It's pretty unclear at the moment what Black Dragons are doing. We're sort of locked into the Liquid points of view, and they're all just watching angles, waiting patiently for this round to happen. Palu at the top of the stairs, leading down into basement. Common position to hold. Doesn't want to give anything away. Wants to be in position for a good lurk if he is given the opportunity. I would expect much more vertical pressure to be happening at the moment, Demo. Black Dragons don't seem to be making enough noise, despite how little of them we can see. I also can't really hear them.
I think they're going to try and walk into dining, potentially. Surprised that whenever they got that kill onto the Gans Solar Stairs, why didn't they just go full Solar? They really took, you know, a full minute there of really just sitting and waiting and doing very, very little. Now we're starting to see the dining presence coming up from West Main, but Liquid, they've caught on to that. They know the positionings now. They know where they're going to try and hit it from. We'll see if PSK can hold it down. Pasetto now will sneak in and try and go for the defuse behind the wall. Is anyone going to be able to stop him? PSK will. Slips in, eliminates him, resets, also eliminates Live. And Black Dragons, they just took too long, and this is a very dire strait they've went down. Tried to go for the quick dining plant, but it's just not going to work if you don't have the angles covered. Liquid will run circles around you, and that's exactly what has happened to them. Doesn't even know where he's getting shot from. Black Dragons fall, and Liquid take an even split. That's a good half from Liquid.
It is. It's the half that they needed to salvage as well. That round wasn't looking so clear-cut for Liquid going into it, but we could see with their attitude toward it, the positions that they were occupying, they really weren't leaving anything to chance. Palu, he lurked perfectly. Played on those lower stairs inside a main lobby and waited till the right moment to push on through. PSK could hear the plant that was going down, and he was able to make that rotation at the perfect moment. I don't think the Black Dragons really gathered enough information there as to just exactly where everyone on the side of Liquid was before attempting that execute, but they weren't really in a position time-wise to do anything different. You can see the time really ticking down there, and if Paolo hadn't found the last kill, the time was going to do the rest there for Liquid. We exit at a 3-3 split. Now we get Black Dragons on the defense, Liquid on the attack. See which team is going to come out on top here. There is, of course, potential for an overtime if we do get that far into things.
Yeah, overtime is definitely something that's on the card, 100%. I think just with the versatility that Chalet can definitely offer to defenders. I know that we've kind of mentioned that, oh, it's attacker-sided, you know, attackers are going to have, you know, their way with the defenders. There is still some great site setups that you can do. I think the ability to roam on Chalet is heavily underestimated by a lot of people. I think Chalet is definitely up there as one of the most roam-heavy maps. When do we see a Chalet bomb site be played, Ollie, that it's just, oh, we sit in the bomb site? Every single bomb site, there is some kind of vertical action being done. Every time.
Yeah, the vertical is so crucial, and we see teams that pay the most attention to that come away with the best results here on this map. A lot to do for a player like Nesk, for example, who's going to be on the sledge. Palu rocking the Finker. Been a little bit of a role change developing on Liquid over the course of this stage. Obviously, they've brought in 2 new players, so they've needed to make adjustments accordingly. But you look there and you think, Sledge, typically played by Palu, Ash, typically played by Nesk, and Finker, typically played by Resets. So everyone is sort of giving something up there. At least in this round, it isn't going to have too much impact as Resets gets taken out first blood. Ion in the right place at the right time, but the nade comes through. We will have a trade on that. Perez next to fall. Palu, maybe a pro with Sledge, but he's also a pro with the nades, and Finker brings 2 of those. A nice kill for Ion over onto Ask as well. So that's both of the new players removed for Liquid, and with it, Demo, the Hibana. The hard breach is gone.
Another storyline that we didn't get to mention, Ollie, in depth is, if you're only just tuning in, Resets on Liquid. He used to play for Black Dragon, so we're seeing the first time he's against his old team, and at the moment his old team is causing a lot of issues for his new team, as Liquid are now in a 2 versus 4 with a minute to go, Ollie. A basement defense, and this is notorious, the least picked bomb site, because attackers just win it all the time. It's being won by the defenders for a change, so it is definitely a different kind of pace that we're seeing from the defenders at the moment. Chalet basement is just notoriously hard to deal with because of the different vertical angles that you can gain from the attackers that we're seeing Nest start to do. A lot of reinforced walls that you can open up, and and really make the site feel claustrophobic in many ways. So it is strange to see the defenders have a good standing right now. They're still trying his best with the vertical game, but it's not really working for him. It feels like Polly might try and take a walk down blue, and that seems to be the only option for him. He has to win this engagement, and this is where Polly and Nest, they have to win their ones. But Ollie, it is Nest and Polly. It is that duo. If anyone's going to win their ones, it will be these two.
Quite possibly. They're going to have a tough time of things, though, and they're not even going to be given a chance. Neither of them can win a single one here. They both get taken down. Information available for Black Dragons more crucially there. But denial. Toxic Babe canister. It faltered Nesk pushing down the stairs. He was then unsure. It was unclear what was going on. And he gets one banged with the shotgun from the other direction. Losing Ask early on, losing that Hibana was a massive problem there for Liquid. They really didn't counter it. They weren't able to get around it in any other way. I think had they known they were going downstairs, they maybe would have tried to bring 2 hard breaches, because it can be nice to have a Hibana to deal with, you know, maybe Trench or maybe pushing in through Snowmobile Garage, and then somebody pushing in through main garage as well. But Liquid, they know that they're not going to be going down there for at least a couple of rounds, so they can stick to their selected operators. As I imagine, Demo, that first sight caught them off guard a little bit.
Possibly. I get it. It's one of those that, because it is kind of known as, oh, it's like the fourth bomb site. You know, it's like the bomb site that you never want to go to because you're just going to lose every single time. And maybe that kind of, you know, maybe Liquid then aren't ready for it. Maybe, like you said, maybe not prepped for that. Maybe they're used to seeing, you know, the top floor and then down in towards bar. That's kind of what they're probably used to. Never would you expect Black Dragons to go straight for a basement defense right off the rip. And maybe they just didn't have the lineup. But then again, like Liquid are always a team that has struck me where they pick 5 operators that will work for every single bomb site.
Yeah, they never really get caught out too far, do they? You know, in terms of who they're going to play. It's typically whoever they pick, they kind of lock them in for the rest of the game. Maybe we'll see it change if they do anticipate going back down into the garage, but at least for the meantime, they've gone for a similar lineup to the first round. Nest's going to be pushing in through garage. It's a very, very typical entry point. It can be a nice place to get yourself established in on the map as well. Resets is kind of dancing with somebody in bar at the moment. I'm sure he knows exactly where they're going to be playing, but at least he's opening up lines of sight for him to be able to work with.
Once again, Ion has a great game right now, Ollie. 9 kills is where he is sitting on the scoreboard, and causing issues for Liquid right now. Nest gone, nades gone, which I think is going to be an important thing that we have to highlight. I wonder if those nades will cost Liquid. Look at Resets. He just walked into mud. Is he on the stairs? What's he up to? He might be looking to aggress on, but at the moment, just standing still, waiting for the rest of his team to get in position. But I mean, a guy in mud who is going to be unchecked is going to cause a lot of issues, Ollie. And oh yeah, you can see now Perez is aware of that. Decides to back away now, but that's a good position for him to be in, because it just means that Perez, he has to worry now from just a different angle. Perez would probably be sat here thinking, okay, all I have to worry about is somebody jumping in library, but nope. Now there's going to be a guy on your bottom stairs.
Just essentially waiting for Perez to continue to hold that angle. We can see that no one's really going to be coming from there instead. Patoxy takes down Resets, getting a little bit aggressive downstairs. That's a battle that's been going on for the majority of the round so far. It takes Ask to aggressively push on through to do something about it. He's now got a chance at making his way up those library stairs, but Palu is going to be the next player to fall. PSK in with the 1-for-1 trade. Liquid leaving things very late here. They've still got a lot of work to do. They've got walls to open, and they've got Aruni gates to try and breach on. We can hear Scaros pellets deployed now onto the breach. That will be opened. Certainly not an ideal situation to be in with such few time remaining. PSK pushing himself on through. Is he going to be able to be that big, impactful player that Liquid need right now? He's in the clutch situation, 1 versus 3. Finds one. Can he grab the second? Yes, he can. Just shoot anything, PSK. You've got 1 second. Comes to blows. but misses out on the chance. No time remaining. The shotgun would have likely have done the work regardless. Terribly close, Demo.
It was. Liquid. Unfortunate. Unfortunate indeed. Even with 15 seconds, it was always going to be a rough round, but we have to talk about Liquid and how they couldn't deal with that roam game. It was one guy in top fireplace, one guy with a shield on top blue. What's obviously in my mind and our minds, Ollie, you know, in hindsight, we can see everything, but there isn't too much that Black Dragons are doing that's complicated. It is fairly standard. You know, it's nothing uncommon. It is very, very common what they're doing. And to see Liquid struggle to that ordeal with even clearing out somebody top fireplace is a big surprise to me.
Yeah, it really is. It's a testament to the way that Black Dragons are conducting and playing, though. You know, you think about some of the sort of long, drawn-out engagements that Black Dragons are getting themselves involved in, and the patience that they're displaying, Demo. It's second to none. They know how important these games are this weekend, and they're not looking to give up anything at all. Now, of course, on the flip side of that, let's not forget, they're going up against Liquid. Liquid, a team that are already locked in for the Copa Elite Six. A team that arguably don't really need to do much this weekend. There's no chance of them dropping out of that tournament coming up next weekend. There's no chance of them losing their spot in there. So you've got to sort of meet Black Dragons playing exceptionally well here with, well, how much are Liquid willing to give away at this point in time? We don't know the answer to that, but it's really worth bearing in mind and thinking about as we do look at this. On the face of it, we can't take away from Black Dragons what they've been able to achieve so far, and that's 5 fantastic rounds. They lead by 2, 1 round away from a match point, and there's a very real chance that they do this here.
It certainly is. Black Dragons, at the moment, have the confidence. I think right now, they're playing better. I think Ion has really stepped up massively, has caused a lot of issues for Liquid. You look at Ask having a bit of a rough game there. Only Ask, we said 2 and 6. I mean, it is pretty even in terms of kills, but it doesn't feel like it though, Wally, in my opinion.
No, it doesn't. It feels as though Black Dragons have had the upper hand throughout. And there's been a few sort of lackluster performances. You mentioned Ask there. I think given what we've seen him do in previous weeks and previous games, he's been fantastic. He's just not really got activated. 10 kills between Nesk and Palu as well. It's not all that much. PSK, the shining light, picks up 2 on the entry in this round. Is able to be a big, impactful player. And PSK's had games this stage, Demo, where he's really popped off.
He has. I think he's kind of like a sleeping giant where you never know if he's just gonna awake Ollie and ruin everything. This is a much better round from Liquid. This is what I expect from Decisive, not giving up any kills. You know, these massive like number advantages, and then they just completely hammer you in the final minute. This is what Liquid are all about, and they're playing this to perfection. It's only a matter of time before the diffuser goes down, and look at the remaining 2 players. Ion and Patoxy, neither of them in a good position to deny this. They are basically marching to their death. As soon as you walk through that door, there's going to be just a landslide of bullets chugging on down to you. Both of them are going to be stacked up with one another. And there goes the 2 kills. That's the Liquid we're used to seeing. That's the Liquid now, Ollie, that we need to see for these next rounds if they want to win this game.
It is not quite backs up against the wall just yet, but it's as near as damn it. 5-4. Black Dragons still lead here. Liquid with a chance at clawing things back. Now, we mentioned this was a bit more of an attacker-sided affair. Liquid have still got chance to prove us right in that. I wonder if they know, Demo, that they're going downstairs. I would guess by the nature of that 6th pick that Liquid have got a pretty clear idea of where they're going to be attacking this round.
Yep, it's a good pick there. Seeing the Thermite come in, which I think is going to help them out a lot, Ollie, as we know. I think Nomad is going to be a necessity. Those flanks, you need to be ready for them. Especially if you're attacking onto the basement. It is more a case, Ollie. Are Liquid gonna try and go for Snowmobile, or are they gonna try and go from like wine side? Go from north, take it to big garage, take trench, and then finally push in and go for the platinum side of wine style. That's really the only options you have. I feel though as if you're gonna go for a Snowmobile attack, then you're kind of forced to go above and use the vertical game in that scenario. So you kind of get your pros and cons for going for both. Looking at the spawns from Liquid, that kind of tells me it might be a snowmobile garage. So potentially we're going to see a clear out of the roamers and eventually pushing in to get rid of the, anybody might be playing under vertical, the vertical flooring. We'll see the sledge come in towards lobby and start opening above everything. So that's kind of going to be the idea for Liquid here.
It's a very free wall to open as well. Ask is going to get that done in record time. Burns a Toxic Babe canister as well. Basetto, I'm not sure if he was conscious of a potential rush then, just with how quickly that got open. But with no denial on the wall, there was nothing stopping it from happening. Ask may go for the rotation now, having done that, and we can already see him making his way toward the big snowmobile garage, and he'll be trying to get himself on in there, maybe opening through trench or the nice long line of sight.
Liquid taking their time, seeing where they want to enter in from and try and get their main entries rocking and rolling and hunting these roamers as best as they can. But nobody from Black Dragons really showing themselves at the moment. We'll see Liquid now. Just take their time. Jammers causing issues also, Ollie, which, as we know, massive if you're trying to hold upstairs and try and go for that roam game. I mean, we're seeing the Mute, the Vigil, and the Mozzie from Black Dragons. It will make things extremely difficult for Black Dragons to really lock down a player and find out exactly where they are. And the really only worry that I would have for this is, look at the position of Ion. He is in a scary scenario. He's got everyone moving from every side. It would appear that Patoxi's also left him. He's kind of near, but not really. He is on the bottom stairs. And, I mean, to be fair, Perez is also upstairs. Not a lot of people are on site, Ollie, as well.
This is my concern.
Yeah,
I think a big concern here is the lack of intel for Liquid. They've got one drone left at this moment in time, and it really seems to be costing them. They've had drones eaten up by not only Mozzie and the Pest, but they've been chasing Vigils, they've been getting stuck in mute jammers, whatever it might be. They have lost a lot of information here, and if they'd have known there was only one player on the site, I'm sure they would have moved a lot quicker than this. Palu does get one back as a trade, removes the mute. One of the main suspects for causing a lot of the problems towards the drones. But 30 seconds left. And realistically, what have Liquid got to go on? Well, they've not got Nesk anymore, and they've not got the nades that he was bringing. Still got a nade in the hands of Palu. Palu looking deadly as ever. Takes down Perez, 20 seconds. Still needing to push in onto the site here. One Toxic Babe canister left in the hands of Basetto. That now will be deployed as well onto the hatch, into the connector. Ion watching onto that hatch, but he doesn't need to be. Picks one out of blue, picks one out of main breach, and almost picks the last. PSK found an impactless kill there to wrap things up, but time did the rest.
What a game from Ion. Unbelievable from him right now. He is single-handedly carrying his team right now to a win. A dearly needed win at that, Ollie. All credit to Ion today. Has been very, very impressive. I just think Black Dragons in general has really stepped up their game today, Ollie. Whenever they go and get tough, they get tougher.
They look like a different team. They really do. They've come out in a big way, and I think it's been something that they've needed for their own confidence as well, because we've spoken about Black Dragons, and they're a team that can be in that conversation for the top 6. It's just things like consistency that they need to iron out. And, I mean, almost unironically, I wasn't using Ion there as a pun, but Ion is actually doing a really good job today of getting in and amongst the kills. I think he's currently got 14. Did get a glimpse before we just went into the reduced view, but he's really popping off. Match point now for Black Dragons as well. They're sitting in a pretty good position here, Demo.
Or indeed, they have that kind of safety net where if they lose this round, then they have another chance of taking it clean without going to overtime and dropping a point. So, what riding really on these next 2 rounds now for Black Dragons. They will head up now to that bedroom. They won this the last time, and it was a little bit lackluster from Liquid. Very, very surprising to see them not successfully clear out players inside the library. You know, Liquid have always been great at dealing with anyone who may be roaming towards that side of the map. Anyone inside a fireplace, they deal with them extremely quickly. But to not see it happen last round, it's put a bit of doubt, I'll be honest, Ollie, in my mind a little bit. This is where they're going to win 8-6 now.
Well, that's it. You ever speak the words that you doubt Liquid, and they'll do the best to try and prove you wrong. They've got to do a lot here, though. Let's not forget, they're not only behind by a little bit. This game is slowly but surely going toward Black Dragons in a very convincing way. Drones, again, a little bit of a problem for Liquid. Oh, and that swing, live. Shuts Ask down on the rappel. Such a crucial rappel as well, Demo. You think about that window and the nades that you're going to want to try and fly in, the covering fire, splitting off the site, cutting it in half, all of that gone.
Indeed it is. Liquid really struggling with dealing with a top floor bomb site. I mean, this is usually like the first pick. This is, you know, the standard, the kind of expectations that you would expect from a Shelly defense is always going to be the bedroom as the favorite. And to really see Liquid struggle a minute right now is very surprising. I mean, they're trying to switch over now to a bit of a solar take, Ollie, but the utility that's being placed, it's just going to completely deny them. Somehow they managed to swing in, but that's not going to last long. Liquid, they're just throwing themselves at Black Dragons and hoping something sticks. But not a single thing is right now. 2 versus 5, and this is looking grim. And Grimmer is reset to stuck at a 1v5. Can he do it against his old team, Ollie? No, he cannot. Black Dragons finish it off with a flawless in the last round. Very well deserved, Ollie. Very, very well deserved.
Great display from Black Dragons. Nice way to finish it as well. Flawless against Liquid. Not the result that a lot of people will have been expecting going into that game. But a big game was had, particularly by Ion.
Wow.
15-7, standing head and shoulders above the rest of his team. Being enabled, being supported, and allowed to go on such an incredible tear. I think his camera might be frozen there. At least I hope it is, because he looks very somber, Demo. He looks a little bit subdued.
No emotion. So cool. But probably, like you said, probably not a result that people were expecting. Not the result that MIBR were hoping for. I'll tell you that much, Ollie, because now that just adds more pressure on MIBR, because that massive win that MIBR had earlier against Furia, it's kind of been nullified in a sense now with that just happening. So MIBR, they still have to play tonight again, Ollie. They have Santos to go for, and I think everyone from Black Dragons, they're now massive Santos fans tonight.
Yeah, it certainly throws a bit of a cat among the pigeons there in terms of the points. MIBR's win.
This cat, man. How many pigeons has it been fed, Ollie, in its lifetime?
Quite a few. It loves pigeons. MIBR's win, as you say there, kind of a little bit devalued. And still, like Dragons, in the fight and in the conversation. This is exactly what we wanted out of these games. We're going to bring Chunks back in here. Maybe you can give us the lowdown into just exactly what this means. And maybe we